Hi everybody. First of all, I have to apologise because my last video suggested that I may die suddenly, and then I haven't done a video since, and some of my viewers might have wondered whether or not I have actually died. Well, as you can see, I haven't died, and I did actually record a video way back in April 2024, but then I guess life got in the way and I didn't actually edit it and finish it and publish it. So from this point on, you'll actually see the video that I did, and I can't be bothered editing it. So all the dates are wrong, all sorts of things are wrong, but just be aware that I am now publishing this video in around December the 6th. So you can see that I take a long time to do my videos. Sorry about that. So look forward to the actual video I recorded in April. Thank you very much. Bye. Welcome to episode 8. And my last episode, I suggested that I might not be able to do another episode because I might not survive because of my heart condition. Well, this is an update to my heart condition, which is obviously I'm still alive. So decided to do another episode so that you could all know what's happened. All 20 of you. So this is just to let you know that I'm still alive. Back on the February the 15th, it's now April the 25th, so a couple of months ago I got called into the hospital to have another echocardiogram, and fortunately for me, the resident cardiologist was available to see me straight away as soon as I had the echocardiogram, and he informed me that my heart had improved slightly, so instead of pumping 20% it was now pumping 25%. So I thought that was quite good, but it turns out that they really wanted me to be above 30%, and because I'm still below 30%, that means that they decided to suggest that I have a defibrillator fitted. So that's just, it's not a great big defibrillator like you see the ambulance people using, but it's a little wee tiny defibrillator that's put just underneath your skin, and if your heart should be playing up, it will give you a shock, and that actually stops your heart so that your heart will restart again with a normal rhythm. So that sounded a wee bit scary to me, but I'll go on to that later. Interestingly, I actually got to speak to the proper cardiologist, not just a heart nurse specialist. And I said to him I was having quite a lot of trouble with all the drugs that they were giving me, in particular one that just made me fall asleep all day long, worse than my normal tiredness. And the other drug had the effect of making me have trouble breathing, which I thought the drug was meant to help with that, because it's meant to help your heart, and if your heart's working better, you'll have better breathing. But this particular drug, spironolactone, actually seemed to make me worse. And when I look up the side effects of this particular drug, it's not good for people with symptoms of asthma. So he said to me, well, if those drugs aren't agreeing with you, stop taking them. So I was quite surprised that he said that, because the heart nurse specialist has been really hammering that I needed to take these drugs to improve my what they call ejection fraction, which is the amount of blood that my heart can pump on each pump. So I had improved slightly from 20% to 25%, but apparently that's not good enough. And I did actually get sent to another cardiologist, which I had to come back to a month or so later, to talk about having a defibrillator fitted. And he said something that was quite, how shall I put, ageist. He said, you know, if you were a 30-year-old man, we would be strongly recommending that you have a defibrillator fitted, because you're at high risk of having a heart attack. And he said, but because you're 67 years old, and you haven't really got much longer to live, we don't consider it that important that you have a defibrillator fitted. I said to him, that sounds very ageist. And he said, yes, it is. We go to a lot more trouble for a 30-year-old than for a 67-year-old. So that was a little bit shocking to me. What else have I got here? Oh, the other thing is, I actually asked this particular, the cardiologist that I spoke to first, not the one that talked about defibrillators. I asked him if it would be okay to have a regular venesection, which is bloodletting, because of my high iron levels. And he said he didn't have a problem with that. If I wanted to do that, I could. The trouble is I can't get any other doctors to authorise it. But I'm going to discuss that in another channel. I've decided to start a new channel, which I'm going to call Haemochromatosis. So I might have to give it a different name, because there might be another channel with that name also. But I want to do a channel dedicated to hemochromatosis, which is iron overload, which I believe is the root cause of all of my heart problems. But I'll discuss that in another channel. So I'll put a link in the description of this particular video that I'm doing now, which will, if you're interested in iron levels, then follow that link to my new channel. And I highly recommend it, because even though you may not have the genetic mutation that I have of hemochromatosis, having too much iron in your blood is a serious problem, because iron is toxic. Iron is absolutely essential for you to make red blood cells, so you need iron to keep you alive. But if you have too much iron, it's extremely toxic and can cause a lot of extra problems, which I will discuss in my other channel. So I'm branching out to a new channel. After all, only 20 people have watched my last video, so obviously people aren't very interested in the life of Graham, or I should Graham's journey, I should say. So this defibrillator that they want to fit, that has its pros and cons. Basically, the only good thing about it is if I do have a heart attack, it will give me an electric shock and revive me. However, I asked this particular cardiologist, you know, what sort of a shock is it? How bad is it? And excuse me, I forgot, just made myself a coffee. He explained to me that most of the patients have told him that the shock that it gives you is like being kicked in the chest by a horse. Well, didn't sound too good to me. He said the other problem is that you can get an infection because they've got to put the device just underneath your skin, and they feed a wire down a blood vessel down to your heart, so that when it wants to give you a shock, it's close to your heart and it can give you an electric shock. And of course, you have to carry a battery as well, and on top of that, it can set off the scanners at the airport. So you have to have a special letter to say that you've got one of those defibrillators fitted, and that's why you're setting off the airport scanners. So that could be a problem as well. But not only that, you can get an infection on the blood vessel that the wire goes down as well. But the worst thing that really put me off was that sometimes, as with all these electrical devices, it gets a false reading and it thinks that your heart stopped, but it hasn't, and it will give you an electric shock. And my friend John told me about a friend of his that's had one fitted, and he was having a shower when it gave him an electric shock, and because he was covered in water, the electric shock threw him right across the room. So it must have thrown him right out of the shower. And that sounds a bit scary to me too. And on top of that, the cardiologist told me that sometimes you can have a electric shock storm. In other words, the device repeatedly thinks that your heart stopped, so it keeps giving you repeated shocks, and of course you've got no way of stopping it. So that would be pretty terrible, to be kicked in the chest by a horse repeatedly. So I told the cardiologist I would think about it, and I haven't gone back. Now, just one other little thing I'd like to mention is that without going into the long story of how it happened, I have ended up going to an acupuncturist, originally for my back, but it turns out that this young lady is very good at what she does. She's had about 5 years acupuncture training in China. I just had to do another edit there because I wasn't sure if I had the details about my acupuncturist correct. I did say that she'd been training for about 5 years in China, and it wasn't just acupuncture, it was full Chinese medicine. And she obviously passed because I think she said she had a degree or a bachelor of whatever it was. So she's very highly qualified, and she's also been doing some learning at the Otago University, and she's got herself, I had a picture of it here, but it's disappeared. Here we go. She's now got a postgraduate diploma in health science, endorsed in pain and pain management. So she's got a lot of qualifications, and she's very good at what she does. So I just wanted to add that in there. And Bob here was upset that I missed him out in the beginning intro. However, I think he's still got a drinking problem because he just doesn't seem to be able to stand up straight. Or he's getting some other disease, because I think he's getting pretty old now for a Kiwi. And but I haven't seen him, I haven't actually caught him drinking anything, so he might be a secret drinker, but I haven't found any evidence of alcohol or empty bottles anywhere, so it may be just a health problem. Okay, so that's all for now. Okay, bye. I'll pause it there and get back to the story. And it's rather expensive, but I'm feeling heaps better just from acupuncture. So that's just a tip for anybody who's having similar problems to me. Acupuncture does help a lot. Mind you, I've got a particularly good acupuncturist, so I can't vouch for every single acupuncturist in the country, whether they're all as good, but this lady that I'm dealing with is particularly good. So if anybody wants to know who that is, get in touch. Thanks very much. So I think that's all I'll do for this episode. If you want to know more about hemochromatosis, or even just the issues regarding iron overload, have a look at the link in my next video, which is not part of this series, so it won't be episode 9, it'll be episode 1 of the hemochromatosis. So that's all for now. Very short. Hey, this is just to let everyone know that I am still alive. In fact, live long and prosper, and I look forward to seeing you in my hemochromatosis video. I will be doing more episodes to do with Graham's journey, but at the moment I'm going to concentrate on hemochromatosis because there's quite a few people in New Zealand having similar problems to me, especially with the doctors. Okay, so that's all for now. Thanks very much. Over and out. Well, no, that's not over and out, because after doing that video back in December, it's now, well, the intro was in December, the original was in April 2024, and now it's late January 2025. And I don't want to say the exact date because I still have yet to upload it and post it on to YouTube. So this is the final edit, and try and straighten Bob up. It's a little bit better. Anyway, I will be continuing on this channel, but I'm also gonna start session 2. So I'm gonna start doing session 2 because I'm so far behind, which will be interesting. That's when I actually start to travel, and I will also keep doing extra episodes for session 1, so it'll be all very confusing. So the best thing for you to do is click the notification button, subscribe, and click the like button as well, so that you get notified when I do another video. Because as you can see, or as you have experienced so far, I don't do my videos very often because it's not something that comes naturally for me. I prefer to be sitting in front of the computer doing trading, but that would be a whole nother subject. So over and out for now. And the reason I do the Spock thing with my left hand, over and out, live long and prosper, is because that just proves that I haven't got a stroke like I did in one of my earlier videos, the stroke video. Okay, so thanks very much for watching this far, and I hope you enjoy the next video. Thanks very much. Bye.